Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. Here is my media feed. Here is my merchandise. We have live merchandise on this website, and we are going to be rolling out new merchandise all throughout 2026. We are at the end of the regular season, America, world, and however many football fans I'm talking to right now. We are at the end of the regular season. Let me put up the playoff picture. But matter of fact, let me put up the playoff schedule because we already know what the playoff picture is. Now, the playoff schedule for this coming weekend is for this coming weekend, the wild cards. Let's see. Here is the playoff schedule for this upcoming weekend in both the NFC and the AFC. Now, let's get to the finality of the regular season in week 18. First game First game of week 18 was the Panthers and the Buccaneers. This pretty much was a bad game on both sides of the ball with both teams. This game was pretty much unwatchable, but I did watch the entirety of it. Buccaneers. Buccaneers, you started off the season 6-2. And you end the season 2-7. And you lose and you don't even make the playoffs. That is a failure. That is a failure. So Buccaneers, the entire season is a failure. They did end up winning. They needed the Saints to win. I really don't even know why, because you get to a point where there were 3 games. They were on a 4-game losing streak. If you just win one of those 4 games that you lost early in the season, you would be in the playoffs right now, not the Panthers. So the Buccaneers, they need to have an organizational overhaul. I believe Todd Bowles, he needs to be fired. Kevin Stefanski, reportedly, he just got fired in the last 10 minutes, and I'm going to get to that a little bit, in a few minutes. I'm going to get to that. The next game I'm going to cover is the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. The Seattle Seahawks are the top team in the NFC. They have the first round bye in the playoffs. Every time the Seahawks have had the first round bye, the top seed in the NFC, they've gone on to play in the Super Bowl every time. Now, are the Seattle Seahawks going to make it to the Super Bowl? Obviously, that remains to be seen, because the winner of the Panthers and Rams will face the Seattle Seahawks not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. So we get to a point where, are the Seahawks really for real? And we see Sam Darnold. I still got to. I'm not gonna count that my eggs before they hatch. Don't count Sam Darnold's success before it hatch. Cause Sam Darnold, he had a good season last season like this, 14-3. Obviously, he ends the season on regular season on a high note. Get to the playoffs, he wasn't able to do anything. This season ends the regular season on a high note. Top-notch team in the NFC, and we are trying to figure out who will the Seahawks play in the divisional round of the playoffs. And the 49ers, I can say, 49ers, they are always in the thick of things. That's why I say we can never count the 49ers out. But the 49ers, they had a chance to get the number one seed Saturday night. And why I say the number one seed was most important for the 49ers is because that if they had the number one seed, they wouldn't have had to leave Santa Clara because the Super Bowl is being held in Santa Clara this year. The Super Bowl is being held in Santa Clara, and the 49ers would have had a golden yellow brick road to the Super Bowl. No pun intended, America. But now the 49ers, they will have to go on the road and they will face, if they win over the Eagles, they will face the winner of the Bears and Packers. Whoever wins that game, the 49ers will face. So now we get to the finality of this game, and offensively, nothing to show. Defensively, this was a game within a game because nobody, and I do mean nobody, as far as offensively, was able to get into a rhythm if you are the Seahawks or the 49ers. Not able to. The next game I'm going to cover, New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons. This game didn't have much weight, but it did because the Panthers are in the playoffs. The Saints, they could have won this game. They didn't do themselves any favors. And really, the Saints didn't do themselves any favors all season. The Falcons, they fired their head coach, Raheem Morris, well, former head coach, Raheem Morris, shortly thereafter. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Raheem Morris, he's never made the playoffs, America. Never. Because each good season he's had with the Buccaneers and the Falcons, he's always lost tiebreakers. And that always prevents him from making the playoffs. When he was with Tampa, that year that they made it 10-6, this was 2010. They, on top of that, when it comes to the Raheem Morris effect, meaning Raheem Morris, he is not even a good head coach in the regular season. And he is only going to be able to put a team that is in play for the playoffs, but he can never get to the playoffs. He can never get to the playoffs, and that is one of the reasons why he got fired. So Raheem Morris, he is not going to be able to proceed on with the Falcons. The next game I'm going to cover is the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. And let me get this big behind elephant out of the room. We already know that Kevin Stefanski is fired. Now let's get a head coach, Jimmy Haslam. Owner of the Browns. I'm putting in my verbal application right now, Jimmy Haslam. Can we get somebody in there that knows the type of playing style that Shador has? And can we get somebody in there that can help out Shador? Because Kevin Stefanski, he was not going to help out Shador. Kevin Stefanski, he is not a coach that develops his team, because over the last 6 years, he hasn't had any kind of development. He's only made the playoffs. Well, when he was with the Browns, he only made the playoffs twice. And both times he was very lucky. Now, the Browns. I like what I'm seeing from the Browns. I like that the Browns did not fire Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry, anybody who doesn't know who Andrew Berry is the Browns GM, and he is the only guy that vouched for Shador in Cleveland. When the owner didn't want him, the coaching staff didn't want him, the front office didn't want him, Andrew Berry put his neck out on the line and put people in those seats for the Browns this season. And Jimmy Haslam, he done the right thing and not fire Andrew Berry, but Kevin Stefanski got to go. And I'm happy that he's gone. Now, we know that Kevin Stefanski, he is going to get another job somewhere because we all know that the NFL is a buddy-buddy system. But I ain't going to get too much into that because NFL HR is in my ear. All right. But now, when we get to Kevin Stefanski, it's either his way or the highway. It's either his way or the highway. Because the fans are running the Browns organization right now. See, and this is one thing. See, this is why when we get to the business aspect of the NFL owners, the NFL owners and the players union, ownership union, they all have their certain committee. But the one committee that the Browns need to be worried about is trying to keep fans coming to the games. We all know throughout the entirety of this season there was protest after protest when it came to Shador playing in these games. Now, there is one thing that I wanna say. If I'm the Browns, we all know that the Browns, they are going to go and hire a head coach, right? They are. But one thing, if the Browns, do they hire? Now, this is one thing. Do the Browns hire Deion Sanders? Do they hire Deion Sanders? Now, I just want somebody I just want this is just a question that's out there right now. Do the Browns hire Deion Sanders? Now, I already know, reportedly they already have 3 guys that they are interested in, but we all know that, you know what, I usually don't do this, but hey, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. We all know that there's a big ass elephant in the room, and we all know that Prime is right there. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. Deion done had dinners with the Browns ownership. Jimmy Haslam, his adult children, they came into a meeting early in the season wearing nothing but Shador jerseys. Now, that is a sign right there where everybody, and I do mean everybody, is saying that they want Shador and nobody else because they know Shador is going to put fans in those seats. And here's another thing. Dylan Gabriel, I'm going to just go ahead and say this. Dylan Gabriel, he's going to be an NFL journeyman. He is. He's going to be an NFL journeyman. And when it get to him, it's not. He's going to just be a NFL backup. That's all. But on top of that, I just want to say this. The Browns is the most entertaining job out there. The Browns is the most entertaining job out there. And I hope the Browns hire the right person for this job because the Browns, I'm going to tell y'all something. The quarterback play over the past 40 years, it hasn't been good. You have your cornerstone quarterback in Shador Sanders. Now, I know that Deshaun Watson is still there. And you going to go ahead and pace Deshaun Watson. But Deshaun Watson, he is not the future. Shador Sanders is the future. Now, I would expect for somebody to work with Shador Sanders throughout the entirety of the offseason to get him ready for when he can get to the type of he is already at that prestige, but Shador he has the opportunity and he will get the opportunity to take over the entire playbook. Because we know that Kevin Stefanski only gave Shador basically 40 plays throughout the entirety of the season. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. The average NFL offense runs 65 plays. So we already know that Kevin Stefanski wasn't gonna give Shador Sanders the entire controls when it comes to the offense. But you get a new coordinator in there, a new head coach, offensive coordinator, and a new special teams coordinator in there. Y'all let everybody know that we winning with Shador Sanders and we gonna lose with Shador Sanders. Shador, he is not being benched at all. That's what I would do if I was the head coach of the Browns. Because I know that Shador can give me the best chance to win. And these other quarterbacks like Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, it's also Caleb Haney and all those others. They're not going to be able to give me the kind of chance to win these games like Shador can. And I know that I have been going on and on about the Browns situation, but I'm happy that the Browns are starting fresh, starting new, and I'm happy that Jimmy Haslam he can finally look in the mirror and say this because I don't know if I don't know if anybody has really been focused on what Jimmy Haslam said, but Jimmy Haslam he said that over the past 10 years he's been trying to find structure. Jimmy Haslam, that is the first time Jimmy Haslam I've seen him speak the truth about his own team. You don't have many owners in sports or in business talk about their team or their franchise trying to find structure and been trying to find structure for a long period of time. Now, Jimmy Haslam, you have the chance, and I'm gonna finish up with this because I know this Browns take has been long, and it's right at 10 o'clock. So, Jimmy Haslam, we want the Browns. I'm gonna say this and be done. We want the Browns in the playoffs. See, this is why the Browns they got to keep Shador as the starter going into we already in 2026. So for this year, you got to keep Shador Sanders at the starting position because you have Shador at the starting position. The Browns are expected to be in the playoffs. Everybody, for me and for all other journalists, we need the Browns in the playoffs if you're going to keep Shador in Cleveland. We need the Browns in the playoffs because of Shador. Shador is going to have the Browns in the playoffs. Now, when it comes to the Browns, future is bright. The future is bright, and Jimmy Haslam, hopefully, he does the right thing. You have a good general manager. You need a good head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, quarterbacks coach. You need an entirely different coaching staff, and the Browns can do that right now. As of today, if I was Jimmy Haslam, I would be blowing up everybody's phone trying to get a new coaching staff in there immediately. And that's all I got to say for the Browns and the Bengals. The next game I'm going to cover is the Packers and the Vikings. Packers, they rested all their players. Vikings, they finished out the season 9-8, a winning record. And let's go on to the next game. Cowboys Giants. Nobody was really watching this game, so Giants win. Okay. Titans and Jaguars. Nobody was really watching this game, but the Jaguars are the third seed in the playoffs, so That's all, and we already knew that that was going to happen. Here is the Colts and the Texans. Texans they end the season on a 8-game winning streak. Well, excuse me, 9-game winning streak, and they will host the Pittsburgh Steelers next Monday night. The Jets and the Bills. Jets and the Bills, they blew out. The Bills blew out the Jets. We already know. The Jets are the first team in NFL history since 1933 to not register a single takeaway. And takeaways started being recorded in 1933. So for the first time in 90, let me see, 93 years, a a a NFL offense, well, excuse me, NFL defense was not able to register one takeaway all season. The next game I am going to cover, the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. Lions 9-8. They finished their season having a winning record, but did not make the playoffs. The Bears, like I said, the Bears, a team, I said before the start of the season, the Bears would be a dark horse team to make the playoffs, and they did. But I am not going to pat myself on the back just yet. We still have a lot of games to talk about. And really, it's really not much to talk about, because when it comes to week 18, everybody, either you're already out of the playoffs or you're in the playoffs and you don't really know. Now, with the Chargers and the Broncos, they hold a number 1 seed. But one thing about the Broncos, and I'm looking straight into the camera when I say this, the Broncos are not one of those number 1 teams where you can just say we gonna have a tough time, because the Broncos, they've gotten off to slow starts throughout the entirety of this season. And I am going to tell y'all something. The Broncos cannot get off to a slow start. Whatever team that they play, they cannot get off to a slow start. Because if they do, that might be it for the Broncos. You can't get off to a slow start in the playoffs. You can't get down 14-0, 17-0, and think that you are going to fight your way back in. Now, the Broncos, last year, they made the playoffs with this bunch. This year, they are in the playoffs. But Sean Payton, he's the type of head coach that gives the Broncos experience, because we all know with this young bunch that the Broncos have, they really haven't been in a pressure-packed moment in the playoffs yet. And I believe that the Broncos, they are going to be in a pressure-packed moment in the playoffs. The next game I'm going to cover, Chiefs versus Raiders. Chiefs, the Raiders, they ended up winning. They have the number 1 pick. They can either get Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore in the draft if they wanted to. Cardinals and Rams. Rams, they ended up blowing out the Cardinals, so they are going to be facing the Panthers. A few weeks ago, the Rams faced the Panthers and they lost. Dolphins versus Patriots. The Patriots ended up blowing out the Dolphins. So the Patriots are the 2nd seed right now. They will be facing the Chargers on January 11th, which is Sunday, this coming Sunday. So now we get to the final game, the final 2 games. Commanders season, it's already been over. The Commanders, 24-17 Eagles, they didn't play anybody. And let me get to the final game, and this was the biggest game of week 18. The Steelers 10-7 The Steelers, they win the AFC North. They win the AFC North. And Mike Tomlin is headed back to the playoffs again. Again. So all of the talk that happened earlier on in the season, back in November and early last month, it's all coming to a head right now. It's all coming to a head. Excuse me. It's all coming to a head because right now the Steelers have a playoff game against the Texans. Now, the Steelers and Texans, they will play next Monday night in Pittsburgh. And the Texans, I know that they have a good offense. Well, excuse me, they have a good defense. Their offense is so-so. But I'm not going to bet against Mike Tomlin. I keep telling y'all can't bet against Mike Tomlin. Now check it. I know that he's had, 500 seasons where he's barely broken 500. But wouldn't you like to see? I'm just going to say this: any kind of matchup that happens with the Texans and Broncos or the Steelers and Broncos, it is going to be must-see TV. It is. So now we are at the end of the regular season. So now we are going to I'm going to give you all not some previews, but here are the matchups for every playoff game in the wild card round. We have the Steelers versus Texans, Bills versus Jaguars, Patriots versus Chargers versus Patriots, since the Patriots are the home team. These are all good matchups. And I'm going to say this: Josh Allen, you are the Buffalo Bills quarterback. This may be your best chance to get to the Super Bowl, because you are the best quarterback in the AFC now by default, because we don't know what type of Aaron Rodgers we're going to get. C.J. Stroud, he's still young. Trevor Lawrence is still young. Drake May is still young. Justin Herbert is still young. Bo Nix is young. He's only in his second year. And Josh Allen, you've been an old hat at this. Now, from where I'm looking, the best odds to win the AFC now, the Bills have the best odds to win the AFC, followed by the Broncos, Jaguars, Steelers, Patriots, and Chargers. And now I'm going to go to the NFC. NFC, we have the Rams, Panthers, 49ers, Eagles, Bears, Packers. Panthers and Rams, we all know how that ended just a few weeks ago. And the winner of the Panthers and Rams will face the Seahawks. And the winner of the Eagles and 49ers will face the winner of the Bears-Packers matchup. So, all in all, this was a very, very entertaining and sometimes surprising NFL regular season. But now the regular season is over with. Here is the playoff matchups again. And later on this week, I will be giving my previews and predictions for all of these playoff matchups in the NFL. This is me closing the book on the regular season and opening the postseason book. Now, we got 12 teams. 12 teams that's trying to get to Santa Clara and Super Bowl 60. Super Bowl 60 is just 33 days away, America. And there is a lot of movement that is going to happen between now and then. I am getting prepared for our Super Bowl intro that we are going to have. We are going to have a Super Bowl intro to the game. We are. So, all in all, this was a very entertaining regular season. And with that, those are my reactions to the 2025 NFL season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. We have live merchandise on Millions.co. We also have, here's my media feed. Well, here's my profile so that you'll know it's me. Here's my profile. And here is my media feed so you can see my different segments, sound bites, and clips from every show that I have ever done. Every show that I've ever done. So, all in all, this book is closed. Regular season is closed. We have a lot of coaches that are getting fired at this moment. We had Raheem Morris get fired. We had Kevin Stefanski get fired 45 minutes ago. And we are going to have a few more coaches get fired before the day is over with. So I am going to be giving out breaking news when those coach firings happen. And with that, remember, everybody, one last thing. The key is always on time.